and try to do as many challenges as you can. I don't just think this stuff up for my health. You know, this stuff is made to help you guys. And I believe that it will, but you have to take an active part. You have to be responsible for yourself. And that's what Rise Above is about. You can't change anybody but your own self. And if you come here every single week, but yet you don't listen to anything that I say, and you don't do any of the challenges, and you sit there and play with your boyfriend, or talk on your phone, or play words with friends, you know, that's not going to help you. You might as well stay home, okay? And I'm not getting on you guys, but I do want to say that I can tell a difference in the ones of you that come, that participate, and that take this seriously, okay? This is not a game. We have this group because we love each other and we want to help you. But if you don't apply the help to your life, you're not going to get any of the benefits. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Just coming here, like when my mom makes me mad or something, what I normally do, it's helped me a lot because I just go in my room and I just try to talk to myself and try to work it out with myself. And then I never come out of it because I don't want to burst out in flames.
Burst out in flames, I like that. Good for you. So it's becoming easier then since you're getting the support?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Yes, Caitlin.
The other night I got in a fight with my mom, and like she always calls me a pig and a slob and everything. Like that I'm just gonna grow up to be just like my brother, or I'm gonna drop out and I'm just gonna end up like half the family that didn't really get anywhere in life. She's like, well, you need to be more like my sister, and I need to be more like Nicole, because my sister actually got her career somewhere in life. And she just makes me feel like I'm a disappointment to her life, and that she doesn't want me anymore.
You know what I have to say to that? I say you be the best you can be. You don't need to be like anybody but yourself, honey. And be the very best Caitlin that you can be. Not like anybody else. And let me tell you something. If your mom doesn't recognize what a precious girl you are and how many talents that you have, she needs to take stock of that. Some people do take their kids for granted. You know, I love Lauren to pieces, but I did take parts of her for granted. I thought she'd always be here, and she's not. You know, you need to take your mom, not take her for granted. You know, even though she says mean things to you sometimes, I believe that she does love you. I believe that she does have your best interest at heart. So maybe that's part of your life just to help you be able to rise above. That's something you have to deal with on a daily basis, you know? It's going to help you become stronger. But I think you're a good person. And I think everybody else does here, too. Don't we, guys?
One thing I'd like to say is life is 10% of what happens to us and 90% of how we respond to it. And what she's trying to do with this group is build character in you guys. And character is very important in your life the longer that you grow and everything. And it speaks of who you are. And your character is very important, and you don't want to do anything to harm your character. It's always right to do what's right, regardless of what somebody else thinks or says.
Right. Any other issues that you guys want to talk about? Yes, Kyla?
She keeps trying to make me raise my hand.
Did you want to say something? No? You're trying to be ridiculous? Ridiculous.
I do too.
Yeah, I do too. I do want to say something about the fact that we talked about anger last week, and of course, how many of you were given the opportunity to put that into practice, controlling your anger, right? You didn't think I was going to teach a lesson you weren't going to. You didn't punch a wall?
No.
Blaze didn't punch a wall this week!
We're getting stronger, man.
Let me tell you, if you come to this group on a regular basis, I got news for you, you're going to have trouble. Okay? You're going to have trouble. It's asking for it. Because you're here to better yourself. Guess what? You're going to be given the opportunity to put into practice the things that I teach you. Okay? Don't be surprised when it happens. Don't be surprised when someone makes you mad after I teach on anger, okay? Don't be surprised when somebody comes up and wants to gossip to you after I just taught on gossip, you know? I mean, think about it. Think about it in terms of what you learned this week. Oh, this is my opportunity to put that into practice, okay? You're going to be given the opportunity, and guess what? If many of you guys don't like that, and you say, well, I don't want troubles, I'm not going to go to Rise Above anymore, guess what? You're going to have troubles anyway. The difference is if you keep coming here and you keep listening and learning, you're going to have a better opportunity to deal with it in a positive way, okay? Non-violent ways. Yes, Lydia?
I wanted to comment on that because I really do wish that I came last week because I did have a really big anger problem today. And now I might be faced with being expelled or kicked off the bus. So, I mean, even though that everyone might be going through troubles trying to better himself, it's better than dealing stuff on your own and learning the hard way than having someone tell you the easy way.
Let me tell you, we have a lot of experience here between just us three. We've lived a lot of years. So we have a few little tidbits of wisdom that we can share with you, or you can learn it the hard way on your own. But let me tell you, not just listening to what I have to teach every week, but listening to each other and supporting each other in a way that you would not get if you didn't come to this group. How many of you guys feel the group support when you come here, that people are on your side? Okay? We are a family. And if you don't feel that way, keep coming on a regular basis. We'll make sure that you do. Okay? It's when you only come once in a while that you don't get that. Okay? This is about being regular. That's why I go through it and do this every single week for you guys. It's not because I don't have nothing else better to do on Tuesday nights, okay? I got news for you, because I do. But I want to do this. I want to do this because I believe that it helps me and it helps you. And I believe that you help each other. Next, anybody? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I am friends with one of my exes on Facebook, and out of the blue, he randomly started calling me names and stuff, along with his sister. And at first I started fighting with them both, but then I kind of realized like they wasn't really worth my time or my effort or like anything, because it was just like basically draining me. So I kind of just like told him I wasn't gonna talk to him and block him. So.
You blocked him? Good for you. It's Kate.
So, like, it has something to do with her, but my ex, Kyle, he typed me on Facebook saying he was sorry, and then he started visiting all my friends that just moved there to that school, and I told him that, like, I wasn't really getting angry or like yelling at him or anything. I was like, just don't do the same thing you did to her that you did to me. And he's just like started calling me sexy and everything, and then he started like calling my friend like every word in the dictionary, and I just blocked him again. And now he's getting on his friend's Facebook and posting on my mom's wall, your daughter's a slut, your daughter's a whore, and after that he's like commenting all my statuses on his friends.
Okay, first of all, what would you guys do in that situation?
Block a friend.
Block the friend.
Delete Facebook.
I'm blocking everything. He's like making new accounts.
Okay, if he makes right, don't accept new friends.
Even if it says just
I'm
a
not
Caitlin, what he says to your mom, trust me, your mom can take care of herself and she can defend you if she needs to. Okay? Don't worry about what he says to your mom.
My mom's like, no, just ignore him. I was like, I'm thankful for that. She like took the keyboard away from me. I was like, I have to.
No, you don't have to say something back. That's what I'm trying to get through your guys' heads.
So
How many times do I have to tell you? You don't have to comment back. Okay? If somebody says something to you, tie your hands in a knot. You know? It's not worth the trouble.
That's what you do.
Very nice was my dad. She was on the bus and I think she didn't get expelled from the bus, but I think she was trying to defend herself and other people. But this one kid that was being really mean to other people, trying to make a fight with everybody and stuff. And I guess she was on the bus the other morning, and he just kept calling everybody names and bad names, like really bad names, and everything. So she just stood up out of her seat and punched him.
I mean, that's not good.
I know.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second, y'all. Listen, there is a time to fight and a time not
So
to
you're
fight.
saying we're allowed to fight?
No, listen, let me complete my thought, okay?
Trying to make things clear.
There is a time to stand up for what is right and what is wrong, okay? Now, every single thing that happens or that someone says about you does not require your response. I've been trying to get that through your guys' head. However, I will say that sometimes life does require you to stand up for yourself or for someone else, not by way of punching someone, okay? But what could that person have done instead of punch that kid out? What could that person have done instead?
Just ignore it.
No, that's not what I'm
Locked
looking
up.
for. If it happened on the bus, is there not a bus driver?
There's a lot.
Okay. Okay.
You're terrible.
Okay. Yes, Waylon.
Okay, I was trying to be a friendly person today at Thornville, waving at everybody, trying to make people smile. And we were sitting there, I was on my corner, you know, and this little kid comes up and he's like 7 years old, and he flicks me off and his mom's right there. Like, are you serious? I was trying to be a friendly person to make someone smile.
Okay, so what did you do? Hopefully you didn't go back.
They were at a red light, so I could just got up to the window and punched the poor kid, but I didn't. I said I did it.
Okay, so what did you do? Anything?
Just turned away and walked away.
We talked about it for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, he's
walked away.
okay. That's okay. If you didn't know that kid and you wanted to make a joke about it, like you just made us laugh, that's fine. You're not hurting anyone because no one knows who you were talking about. If you went around to that kid's school and talked bad about him, then that would be a different story. Still, right? Yes.
My friend, she's been my friend since like first grade, and last Wednesday she was talking about me, and she was saying all my secrets to everybody, and I told people one of her secrets, and now they're impressed.
Oh, how was that for handling something?
Down.
Not a good idea. Did you guys hear what she said?
No.
She said one of her friends went around and told one of her secrets, and so she got mad and went and told one of her friends' secrets, and now they're in a fight. So what was a better way to handle that?
Tell everyone. No, but
Seriously, I want to know, really. Yes, wait.
she really should have just like ignored it and just calmed down and just walked away from the situation.
Or, what else?
Talk to her friend.
Talk to your friends, right? Did you try
It's
talking?
always no.
She's fun to hang out with and stuff, but she doesn't really care.
Okay, she's fun to hang out with, but she doesn't really care about me. Does that sound like a good friend?
Yeah, one person's secret is not a secret.
You have to, this is what I talked about 2 weeks ago, guys. Guarding your secrets and yourself, okay? We need to learn to trust people, but not right away, and only if they've earned our trust, okay? Obviously, this type of person that she's talking about hadn't earned enough trust to be told a secret, right? So you shouldn't have told her in the first place. But when she did go around and tell her secret, you could have said, you know what, I thought you were my friend. Obviously, I was wrong. You know, I don't know why you did what you did, but it makes me very sad. You know, I don't think that we can be friends. Or just don't hang out with her anymore. You know, obviously, if she doesn't care enough about you to keep her secrets, then she's not really a big boss as a friend, right? Right. Yeah.
So I finished the journal I had since like October, and my, well, not really my friend, but he still counts me to be his friend. He took it and he showed this group at lunch table, and he showed them it, and they got to a page and that I didn't really want anybody to read, and he told everybody to start calling me that demon girl or it, and now I'm like finally getting, well, not finally, but like getting call names around the school just because of that.
Okay, first of all, if you had a journal, what was it doing at school?
I fell out of my locker. I always keep it in my locker, but I had a lot of stuff.
And did this person just come up and snatch it from you?
Well, I think I left it there when I went to go walk into the classroom, and just like got a hold of it, and he didn't tell me, and I was looking for it everywhere.
Okay, we talked about this a couple weeks ago too, didn't we, guys?
Yeah.
If you're going to write down your innermost hateful thoughts about anybody or anything, it needs to be in a safe place.
Keep it in your pillow.
It needs to be in a safe place. Because trust me, I say this from experience, okay? There used to, when Lauren was in 7th grade or something, there was something going around called a burn book. You guys remember that? Okay, where people wanted to write just the most hateful things that they could think of about other people in there. Okay, and it was nothing but just pure hate and torment for anyone that read it, okay? Sometimes when we don't like someone or we have a problem with someone, we write down some really terrible things that don't need to be shared with anyone. So if you decide you want to write your thoughts, which that is a way to deal with anger, you need to make sure that those things are put away, that no one is going to read them but you, okay? Yes, Mika.
When this group first started, Lakewood has part of it on Facebook. And I got invited to that for some reason. I mean, I've never even went to Lakewood High School or anything. And they like people from like this person, like this is talking about me 2, 3, 4 years younger than this. So it's kind of like, I mean, nobody that I knew was in it, one, and two, like, I don't understand how I got accepted to it. I mean, I didn't accept it or anything, I reported it, but at the same time, it was just kind of like, it seems like it's like a low step to go that low to be, you know, putting everything, everybody's personal business out on the internet, one, and two, even like going there and writing hateful about it.
Right. Let me just put something up here for you guys to remember.
I have a comment on Caitlin's story.
Comment while I'm going over here.
Since you had it at school, and if you ever want to start a new journal, tape it somewhere and make sure you don't tell any of your friends to stay over or anything, because I had that happen one time. I taped it under my makeup desk and everything, and somebody found it and took it, and I just had a birthday party, so there's 5 different people that I could blame. But they didn't spread it around school or anything, but they just read it and kept it. So just keep it more secure or safe, or get yourself a little lockbox.
If you got a secret and it gets out, just not too explicit, the easiest and fastest way to live it down is just act like you're proud of it, man. You know what I mean? And then just be like, oh, if they're not going to get any fun or excitement out of it, it's just going to be a done
That's
deal.
awesome, Chris. Thank you.
I agree.
Let me tell you, I just read over this today real fast, which is why I can't remember what I stands for. But just think before you speak. Is it true? Is it harmful to someone? I forget what I stands for.
Intelligent.
Is it necessary? Is it kind? You know, if those answers are, what they shouldn't be, then you shouldn't be saying it. Okay? Intelligent?
Interaction.
Is that what it is?
Important. Yeah, it's intelligent.
Interpersonal.
Important.
We'll use intelligent. Okay? So, if you use this just as a quick way to stop and think, you know what? Yeah, it's true. That person did what I heard. Yeah, it's harmful if I repeat that. Is it intelligent? Not really. It's going to make me look kind of like a lesser person. Is it necessary? No, not at all. Is it kind? No, not at all. You shouldn't be repeating it. Okay, does that make sense to you guys? I hope that helps you a little bit. Because first of all, if you are not sure about something, it's a rumor. You shouldn't be spreading rumors anyway. And if you are sure about it, if it's not kind, you don't have any business spreading it. You wouldn't want people to do that about you. Yes, Abigail.
I was at school today, and this girl, she decided she was going to tell me for things that weren't really true. And I had, like, what the principal had said to me were things that she had said about me, and I had proof, so it backfired on her. But something really good came out of it. The principal talked to me for, like, probably 10, 20 minutes about Rise Above, and now she wants Rise Above to come to our school.
Woo! Let me say something on that note, y'all. I know you guys like when I say y'all. I'll give you enough cowboy hat. Listen, on that note, what we do says so much more about our group than what we say. Okay? We can go out there all day long and say, rise above, yeah, rise above. But if we don't really do it, people are going to say, they're a bunch of fakers. I don't want nothing to do with that group. They act just the same or worse as everybody else. We got to live what we're talking about in here for it to work. Yes?
My best friend Bailey was just sent to Afghanistan, and she actually like watches our YouTube videos and stuff like that. And she met this guy over there that's in the army as well, and like he found out stuff about her past. He's like been like, you know, been on her and stuff. But she's been, like I said, following us, so she's kind of like, she's the only person to hit you the first chance she gets. But right now she's kind of like in that state where she's like not really like fighting with him. She's kind of like ignoring him most of the time, and like he's still going on and stuff.
Well, good. It's good that we're being a difference in somebody's life, even as far away as Afghanistan. That's why it's important that when we tape these videos, guys, that you show respect for the people that are talking, because you don't ever know who's watching this. We actually had, I got an email today, we had somebody that was, you know, an atheist that doesn't believe in God at all, watching our video just to critique it and whatnot, and had a lot of really interesting things to say about it. You know, there's all kinds of people who have problems with bullying, all kinds, you know, and we need to make sure that as a group that we're focusing on the big picture here. The big picture is not about whether or not you believe in God or, you know, any of that. The big picture is about acceptance. Okay? Acceptance. Hi, Allie. We want to make sure that we are exuding acceptance of all people. Okay? No matter who you are, what you look like, what kind of lifestyle you live, you are welcome here to get help and to be loved. Okay? It doesn't matter what any of you guys choose to do as your lifestyle. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to love you. Okay? Yes, wait.
Two things. One, like, I've been talking to my aunt about it. She's been following us. And, she's been talking, like, her son's really into sports, and she's been talking to a lot of other parents in sports, and, like, she wants to get a Rise Above thing started in indoor sport. And, like she wants to come a few times and see how it really is. And she's, like I said, she's watched this on YouTube, she's seen our page. And, like, she really has an idea. Because my little nephew's cousin that is 9 years old, and he's already being bullied in his elementary school.
It's a universal problem. I mean, there are kids as young as Kyla's age that get bullied. There's kids, you know, that aren't even kids anymore, adults that get bullied, that bully each other. Somebody that I work with came up and bullied me today, and I let him.
I want to know.
You know, it's like, it happens, guys. It's very widespread. That's why we need to make sure that we're coming here and learning good ways of dealing with it. Because there's a good way and a bad way to deal with everything. Okay? These are just some of the ways that I've learned over the years What's better than what? How many of you guys were here at the beginning of this group?
I wish I was.
Okay.
I was like 5th week.
Let me tell you, the ones that have been here at the beginning, they can tell you that this group has changed a lot from what it was at the very beginning. Okay? And why did it change? Because we decided what worked and what didn't.
Cupcakes don't help.
Cupcakes don't work. Learn that. Okay? There are things that work and things that don't. Now, we're learning this as a group, but we are also learning this individually. Okay? So what works for me may not work for you because you don't have my life and you don't have my set of experiences. But I'm here to tell you, after living 41 years when many of you have only lived 16, I got a little bit more experience on you. So if I give you a piece of advice, it's probably 9 times out of 10 going to be a better way to deal with it. Okay? I'm here to help. Yes, Kate.
My nephew, he's only 7, well, just turned 8, but when he was 7, there's 3 12 and 11-year-olds that jumped him because he wanted to play basketball. So like when they bounced the ball, he caught it and he shot it, and they like jumped him and like started taking him to the ground and everything, and he had a bloody nose and a broken wrist.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That's mean.
He was at grounds
Or got dumped on us.
Who just said that kids are terrible?
John.
I have to tell you. I hear so many people say that. Kids are terrible these days. Let me tell you. Kids are terrible these days, but there's also a lot of good ones. Okay? I want you guys to be the good ones. Yes.
Something may not just be terrible, it might just be the way they were raised.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
they could change over time.
Right.
As they change.
Absolutely. And we also teach here that you don't know somebody's backstory. You know, you don't know why they're being hateful and mean. They may have all kinds of problems that you don't know about. The person that said all those mean things about Lauren on the computer, you know, they could have a very terrible home life. They could have a lot of things wrong with them. That's why I said I felt sorry for them, you know, rather than being angry, because you don't know what kind of lifestyle they come from. They could have a horrible life. So try to give somebody the benefit of the doubt a little bit. Yes, Kate.
I have a question. How do you like get along with your boyfriend's mom? With like, she's like
Crazy.
yes, that's like almost the perfect word. She's just one of those like sandpaper people that just make me want to like.
Sandpaper people
I
will
don't
make
know
you
how
beautiful, honey.
I don't know how to get along with.
I'll tell you right now. This is how I would do it. Okay? I can't say that I love my husband's mother. I love her to pieces.
Here we go.
But I do. No, but there are times when someone like that gets on your nerves and you really don't want to say anything bad or mean to them. You just have to say, "Oh, I just love you," and just smile through your teeth. You know, and then when that initial, okay, she's a crazy person wears off, you know that you've done the right thing.
You know, like in the movies, how they have like one of them is the monster-in-law. How she has like that vision where she like, beats the crap out of her, and then she comes back to reality, and she's like.
I'm
She
going
smiles.
to do
That is every time I'm with her. Every time. I just want to like have one of those visions, but make it feel so weird.
Just smile. Just smile and pretend. Like I said, smile, pretend. I just love you.
That doesn't work.
That works. How many of you could get mad at me if I said that to you? I mean, seriously, I just love you. You can't do that.
That's okay.
All right. No, I do that. Trace, please.
Yeah, you know that thing that you said about the vision where the woman is speaking of death? That's basically the same kind of thing I have with my sister.
I love him. I love him. I will take him home with me.
Okay. Rachel.
Oh wait, there's a
I'm sorry.
My sister is 21.
That's a difference. That's
Yeah.
just a little
I've
different.
done it with
Yeah.
my sister, and like she chased me down with a break though.
But she's pregnant. She don't have.
Don't be saying
So-
that.
So that's okay, Trace. If you have that vision, but you don't act on it, that's good. What do you do to get through that?
I just walk away. I just walk upstairs, sit and read.
Okay. That's one of our good coping mechanisms, right? Okay, Rachel was next.
I'm gonna comment on what everybody decides to quiet. Anyway, I'm not gonna talk. First time. Never. Anyway, you just have to act like you like her.
I love her sometimes. Like when she calls and she needs to talk to her. That's when she's all lovey-dovey. But like she has her like times. Like, it seems like it happens 3 times every single time I'm around her. 3 times she's like.
You just have to act.
I know.
Because if you don't, then they're not gonna like you, and then it's not gonna work out.
But stop and think about it. Stop and think about it. Stop and think about this. Who out there doesn't have times that they annoy you? Really?
But she does it on purpose. She really does.
So
That's who she is, though, man.
Ben annoys me on purpose, you know. Okay. Gina, I want to hear from Gina.
I kind of have something to say about that. Like, if someone's really, really annoying you, and you really like don't understand them or anything, try to go out of your way to have one pleasant conversation with them a day, even if you really don't want to talk to them at all. And try to learn more about them. You might be able to find out a little bit more of how they see things. Maybe there's a reason for how they act. Maybe you'll totally disagree for why they're responding that way, but at least you'll kind of know how they think.
I know, but like our only pleasant conversation one time was about a girl and Dr. Phil. She was like,
That's still something. You know, she likes Dr. Phil.
To come here, like she was like a bully and like 17 and an alcoholic and a drug addict, and she was like horrible. And like we were talking about ways we would discipline her.
Okay, so
They were very nice.
so let me tell you, this is Brad's mom?
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you. One thing I learned, because I did have at one time a mother-in-law that I couldn't stand. It was not Ben's mom before that. I did have one super duper respect for her, and that was the fact that she raised someone for me to love.
I love that.
Okay? Stop and think about it that way. Obviously, she did something right because she raised a guy that you love.
I love her too. It's just she has those like times where she just makes me want to like.
Okay, but let me tell you this. I love her too, but. Okay? Whenever you say but, it kind of erases everything you just said before that. Okay?
She has her days, but I love her there.
Yes, Amanda.
I'm like, what?
Okay, that works. That works. Yeah, Tony?
This week I've been doing a lot. I found out that my girlfriend's been cheating on me. And it's been 3 months before that I didn't know. I had a meeting with a friend,
Just Lizzie Jared.
and he was willingly showing me the text, what my girlfriend was texting her and him. And it was not good, and I looked at the text and I was like, how can she do this? I love her to pieces. I kept looking at it and I'm like, did I do something wrong? What did I do? But I sat there and I gradually took it in, and I could have said, I could have got angry, I could have got stormed out, I could have punched this kid, kill him, but I didn't. Which I'm glad I didn't. So, I looked there, I'm like, I would put myself in my pastor's shoes. What would my pastor do? What would Rise Above do? And so I sit there and I didn't even say nothing. And I just let him go. That way I wouldn't have to say nothing. I'd rather hold my, say something, I'd rather not say nothing wrong than saying something that I regret. So.
Tony, I think you're in a good place. How many of you guys have ever found out that someone's been cheating on you? Okay, yeah. That happens. Unfortunately, that's a lot more common than what you guys think, and it hurts when it happens. But it's another lesson that you have to go through and learn in life. And I'm very, very proud of you for doing the right thing.
Murder's not the answer.
Murder is not the answer.
He was talking about it because this girl got bullied and she came up to me.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Good. We are getting the word out, slowly but surely. We'll have a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Yes, ma'am.
I've been going through a really rough time with my boyfriend, and it's his dad. Because most of you know that I was molested back in November, well, like last year back in November. And his dad reminds me a lot of him. He has his eyes, he's his buff husband, he's just like him really, and like one night his dad yelled at him, and I just like hung up and I bursted into tears because it scared me because he sounded just like him. And I know it wasn't him, but it did sound just like him, and it just got to me a lot. And I can't be around his dad without me like crying or just like looking away, or I just can't even look at him. And my boyfriend said, well, if you can't get along with my dad, then I don't want to be with you. And I was like, well, I don't want to just like mean your gut just because I'm scared of your dad. And you should understand that. And then the other night we had a conversation about like, well, I don't always have to be around his dad every time I'm with him, but I will just like go into the next room or something. But his dad had talked to me on the phone, and his dad's like, oh, I would never do anything like that. And I told him, I was like, it's not you, it's just what I have stuck in my head. And every time like somebody looks like that or talks like that, I just like have flashbacks that go back to that. And I just like break into tears. I just can't take it anymore.
Let me share something with you guys about that. It sounds to me like a lot of you guys are putting your self-worth on what someone else thinks of you or who you happen to be with at a time. I have a little demonstration. $20. Who wants it? That's all that wants it? Seriously? If I'm really going to give this away, there's only like a couple of you that really want this $20.
I just know that you're not going to get it.
Okay. It's crisp and beautiful. Want it? Are you sure? Okay. Now who wants it? Okay, you still want it? Yes. Okay, now who wants it? Me! Now who wants it? Okay.
Don't rip it up no more.
Let me tell you. I do this to prove a point.
That you lost $20.
Listen, no matter what this $20 bill looks like, it's still worth something. Okay? It's still $20. Let me tell you, each of you that are putting your self-worth based on something that someone says about you, or whether or not somebody loves you, or whether or not you're with a specific person, that is the wrong thing to get your self-worth on. Okay? You are still worth the same thing that you were worth before you were crumbled and stepped on and ripped in half. Okay? You are still worth something as a person. You guys need to realize you are worth something. And I don't see that in you guys tonight. I see you guys sad and upset because you put your worth in the fact that someone else doesn't think you're worth it. Are you the same person now that you were before that happened?
No, he's a child.
Listen, I really wanted you guys to get this, okay? One of the big things that we try to talk about here at Rise Above is self-worth. And it's real important that if you're going to learn how to properly treat other people, you have to learn how to properly treat yourself. And you have to learn how to think of yourself. You have to see your own self-value before anyone else is going to see it. Okay? If you don't think you're worth anything because so-and-so broke up with you or they cheated on you or, and that brings your self-value down, how in the world are you ever going to expect anyone else to love you? You don't love yourself. You're with yourself every single day. If you don't love yourself, nobody else is going to. So you need to stop and think about that this week, okay? Or next time you see a $20 bill. Think about the fact that you're worth the same, even before and after somebody steps all over you and treats you wrong and says something bad about you and punches you in the face and flips you off or whatever it is, okay? You're still a person of value. Now, let me flip that a little bit more. Y'all didn't think he was going to get out of here without me preaching all day, did you?
I love your preaching.
Let me take that a little bit further. Not only do you have to realize your own self-worth, you have to realize the self-worth of others. Okay? No matter what someone looks like, no matter what they've been through, no matter what their lifestyle choices are, okay, whether you believe them or agree with them or not, they are still a person of value. They still have something to offer this world. Kyla told me the other day, Mommy, there's some boys and there's some girls in the world. And I said, yeah. And she said, it would be really boring if we were all girls. I was like, yeah, it would. That's why we're different. Okay? Everyone on this earth has value. That's one of our core values at Rise Above, okay? Everyone has value. But that means you, too. Yourself. Okay, you guys get that? All right. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I have been having a lot of nightmares about that a lot. And I wake up every morning just saying to myself over and over again that I'm worthless and I'm a failure. And I do feel really guilty for the things that I've done. Like right after that, I did start thinking about, that was like way before I even tried to cut myself or anything. And like after that, I just fell into a really big depression, and my mom didn't notice it whatsoever, of course, but she took me to a counselor. That counselor made me feel like everything was my fault, and I just like stopped going. I was like, Mom, I can't take that counselor anymore. Like, she asked me, she's like, have you ever thought that that would probably be your fault that he did that to you? And I like look at her and I give her the dirtiest look at her, and I was like, no. I was raised not to believe, like, if anything like that to me ever happened, that it wouldn't be my fault. And she's like, well, did you say anything back to him? And I was like, yeah, I said hi. That was before that I knew him. He said hi to me, and I was like, fine, I just kept walking. But after that counselor, she made me feel like it was all my fault, and I kept repeating what she said in my head over and over again, and I just like, I was like, yeah, forget it. And this past month is when I actually really started thinking about it, and every time I see a person that's buff with a goatee or anything, I always just like cry.
Remember I told you guys a while back that you have the power to control your thoughts. Caitlin, you need to work on that, honey. Okay? You are in charge of what you think. And every day when you get up in the morning, if this helps you, write it down on a card, stick it on your mirror or someplace where you're going to see it first thing in the morning, and write 5 things you love about yourself. Okay? And repeat those things out loud to yourself every single day. I am beautiful. I am smart. But I have mine hanging up at work on my desk. You know, people probably walk by like, she thinks she's all that. But I don't care. Because that's for me and my self-esteem. When I'm feeling low, I read that list and I remember those things that I love about myself. You need to learn to change the channel in your head. Because you're stuck on a negativity channel. And only you can change that. We can't change that for you. You have to change it.
Well, I really don't know how to do that, considering, like, I have nightmares about it. Like, literally, I have nightmares, like, just him doing the same exact thing to me, and after that, it'll, like, real nightmares that would just, like, go to what one person said and to what another person said bad about me, and they're just bad thoughts that I don't have to turn that off in my nightmares, of course. That's, like, really all I have. Like,
Well, it's good that you have here that you can come talk to me. Right? I have time for a couple more, and then we're going to have to get on the picture, okay? We haven't heard from Rachel yet. Just my experience is a little bit different. I didn't have that exact experience that you had, but my experience with the ER, the night that Lauren died, anytime I am anywhere around a car wreck or an ER where there's something, that situation, I feel that same way too. It's traumatizing, it is. And you are going to have to learn how to deal with that, because she's right. It's going to be something that is going to get triggered in you, and you have to learn how to deal with it. You have to recognize, okay, I'm being triggered. I need to be able just to get through this moment, and then I'm going to be okay. All right, there is a way to deal with that. One more.
Okay. First off, that's a lie. You aren't worth this. You're, like Rachel said, you are beautiful. You all are beautiful. Like, I've come here about 20 times now, and I'm tired of seeing people like say they're worthless and stuff. You aren't worthless. You are all worth something in your life. Like I've tried to deny it for a while, and like it's really hard to, but I know it's hard. That's why you got everyone who's here. Like, I talk to half of you people, and like I'm happy to listen. Like I know we all have different things like we are today, but we all are beautiful on the inside and on the outside. Like, I really don't like people saying that kind of stuff, but we all think it because we all have different paths. But that's why we were created. That's why Rise Above is here. Like, only tonight, there's only been like 10 people actually talk. I want everyone to talk, to share your past so we can all be there for each other. Like, I can feel connections with some of you, but not all of you. I want to be connected to all of you because that's what family is for.
For Hope for Hunters, so if you brought your dollar, stick it in. I would like to hear from Damien though, because we haven't heard from you tonight. You have your hand.
I too had some trouble with counselors. I went over my parents got divorced, and whenever I would talk to her about it, she would pretty much blame it on me, and I was asked what I'd do and what they would say to each other, that they would fight over me all the time. I was pretty young at the time, but I still think about it a lot. But I recently went to a different counselor, and I told him that my own counselor blamed it on me, and he pretty much said, in my language, he said that counselors like that are just pieces of shit who doesn't deserve those kind of jobs. And my dad is really judgmental. brings me down. So is my stepmom. She pretty much blows it all on me too. And my counselor said that there's nothing wrong with me. And my dad's stepmom was the ones with ethnic problems. And they influenced me to the counseling. It's pretty cool guy.
Sounds like a pretty cool guy. I have one thing to say about that too. I took Lauren to a lot of counselors, and she hated most of them, wouldn't talk to any of them. But before she died, we did find a good one, and that's the same one that I go to now, and that's what I get a lot of stuff that I share with you guys because he gives it to me. So just because you go to counseling and it doesn't help or that person makes you feel bad, don't give up on counseling. There are good ones out there, okay? And until you can find someone that's the right counselor for you, because different counselors click with different people, until you can find someone that's the right counselor for you, continue to go to group counseling. I mean, I would consider this group counseling, you know? I mean, I'm not qualified by any means to be counseling anyone. I don't have a degree or anything, but it helps to be able to talk and to get your problems out and to get different ways of dealing with it and stuff. We have to stop, guys. Yes?
Like, every day at lunch, I feel like I want to cry because I feel like no one gets me and no one wants to be my friend. But today, I felt happy because these girls right here offered me to sit by them because I was sitting up there all by myself.
Yes!
Praise the Lord.
Stepping out of your comfort zone, making somebody else feel good. Because guess what? It ain't all about you. Okay? Amanda.
I was raped when I was 15, and that is not going to get better, but it does get easier to handle. And like I can't stand to hear him or see him or even read things on Facebook that my friends are friends with him. But it will get easier to deal with once you find that place that you're going to be at.
Thank you. Yes,
Caitlin, I have nightmares. My brother got hit by a car crossing the middle school to high school. You probably all heard about that. And he had to get flighted to a hospital because he had all kinds of things wrong with him. Like, everything was wrong with him. And he only came out of it with a broken wrist, but they thought that like his pelvis was broke, he thought that some of his lungs were broke, and he thought that like he thought he was going to be paralyzed for life, and I have dreams about it and stuff, and my brother went to counseling because he has nightmares and stuff, but me and my mom, we always try to tell him that God saved him and stuff. He's having a hard problem with faith, and we went to this counselor for his problem with faith and stuff, and he just keeps saying stuff like God's not real and really bad stuff about stuff.
Well, a lot of people feel that way. Let me tell you something just personally from my experience. Not everybody believes in God. You guys know that I make it clear that I believe in God, okay? I just want to say that don't give up on Him. Don't give up on Him. Because faith comes through a personal relationship with God. And if you don't have that personal connection, then you're going to think there is no God.
He believes that there is a God, but he believes that God hates him because my mom and my dad got divorced on his 7th birthday.
So he's blaming God for the problems that your parents made.
Yes, and he tried to tell me alcohol because living in his past, and he was blaming God.
Well, we can talk about this a little bit later if you want, and I can talk about some things that No, she knows that. We just wish he would know that, right? Okay. Well, I appreciate everyone taking time to share.
What's the challenge?
I'm going to give you a challenge. Change her. Okay. This week's challenge. I have to thank Kyla for giving me the challenge this week. She decided that she was going to have a beauty contest for her stuffed horses this week. And she lined them all up and decided how beautiful they were, and Brown Sugar won the contest. But I got started thinking about that. This week's challenge is a beauty contest for you guys. Make an award. Listen. Make an award for the person in your life that you consider most beautiful on the inside. Now, tell them, I have to finish, tell them specific reasons why you think they deserve the award, and challenge them to award someone else. As a bonus, take a picture of them receiving their award. And be creative. Ben, would you like to take a picture right now? Because I already did my challenge. This is a certificate of appreciation awarded to Bruce Barnett, most beautiful person,
He is gorgeous.
in recognition of your kindness, generosity, forgiveness, positive influence, patience, tolerance, and model of a true servant's heart. Thank you for making a difference. My dad is the most beautiful person in my life, and he has been. There's been a lot of times that I've done a lot of wrong things, and he's never judged me. He's just been there to love me. And he'll be the first one to tell me, what I think you're doing is wrong, but I still love you. You know, so I never, ever, ever felt abandoned by him. I've seen him make a difference in so many other people's lives, and he always had time for me as well. So he definitely has a beautiful heart. I hope that you guys can do something like that this week. It'll mean the world to someone that you give it to. Okay, so please, please, please do the challenge. Let me make sure that we go over everything that we have to. Okay. Oh, yes. Before we leave, we're going to do our photo right now. And then before we leave, I have permission slips for the trip to the Ohio State School for the Blind. For those of you who are planning to come, you're going to have a few weeks to get your permission slips in. I also need drivers. Drivers, I have a special permission slip for you. You have to be 18 to drive. To drive other people. You can drive yourself if your parents let you if you're under 18. But to take other people, you have to be over 18. You have to have insurance and you have to have a valid license.
Can I take Katie? You just say you're doing that direction.
Can I take Katie? What? Can I take Katie? Take a peek. Can I take Katie?
That's between you guys.
Oh, well then why would you?
Okay, I don't want to be responsible if, listen guys, you have to understand from my point of view, okay, losing a daughter at 16, it is very, very possible that someone could get in a wreck. Rise above can't be held liable. I don't want to lose my house if something happens, okay? So permission slips have got to be turned in. You have to have all your ducks in a row or you're not going, and I will not make exceptions, okay? So, let's do our photo first. Wait a minute.
I'm the shortest, so I got front.
Let's do our photo first. What I want to do is move these chairs back a little bit. We're going to take it right there.